Namaste students, today we will go for next topic or another important chapter. Before going to the chapter, we will know how that chapter works. Let us assume that you completed your PUC with a very good marks, you completed your graduation also. In the due course you decided you want to become a businessman, you want to manufacture certain products. With some little analysis you made in the market in your city, and you decided you would like to go for manufacturing biscuits of two types. One is round type, one is rectangular type biscuits. And you felt that both the products are profitable in nature. This box, the round type biscuit box and the rectangular type biscuit box, both will give you profit in nature. But you would like to know how much to produce. Now this is your design plan is for small kids, where it has in the small one there will be animals like elephant or tiger is carved in that set, so that it will attract the small kids, whereas this is for other than kids, maybe adults. Now both will give profit. Now your work or your analysis was how much to produce. Students, all of us believe that every businessman wants to get profit. Hope you also agree with that. Everyone wants to get profit. Now how much profit is not defined, and maybe you have learned it is to maximize your profit, you have to increase your profit. Optimum profit I want to get, but question arises, how much profit that I can get? You may have an ambition or dream to earn crores together profit in few days or few weeks, but it may not be possible in the given case. Therefore, always the profit intention is there, but your business is limited by certain constraints. What are those limitations? Let me take an example. When you decided to manufacture two kinds of biscuits, you might have felt that money that you can investment is only 10 lakhs. So the money part, rupees 10 lakh, investment 10 lakhs. There are workers you can appoint, men say there are 5 men you would like to appoint. There are 2 machines which you are going to consider. So machines 2. So money 10 lakh available, there are 5 men you are appointing, there are 2 machines and there is 1 manager to look after entire factory. Now with these constraints, definitely it is not possible to get close together profit. Some profit can be achieved, but these are all the constraints. Now we need to know within the limitations and constraints, how much maximum profit you can arrive. For that we are going to learn a chapter. The chapter name is all about the allocation of production capacity. You have round type, you have rectangular type, how much to allocate, how much I should produce the first one, how much you have to produce the second one. When you are working out, you have to solve some linear inequalities. With the help of linear inequalities, you are going to work out. So planning or programming such linear inequality so that the optimum profit can be arrived in a chapter, linear programming problem, called LPP. Students, is a very important topic, whether it is you have taken science maths or commerce maths, or it is about statistics. In all the chapters the due weightage is given. Now all of us to know how do you work out at the end after learning this chapter, you would like to conclude. After learning this chapter, you are going to decide how much round type and how much rectangular type of biscuits can be manufactured, considering these are all the constraints. So what is LPP? It is linear programming problem. At the end working of LPP, solving, first you have to formulate, then you solve. Once you solve, you will get 2 answers. It may be, let us call X and Y. X is about round type biscuits, say assume 2000 boxes, say 1500 boxes, and the profit per box will be given to you in the question, and you can decide what will be the maximum profit you can earn with the help of the given 4 constraints. Now LPP, there are 3 parts in LPP. Any LPP you consider 3 parts. Part 1, it is objective function. Students, write down there are three parts. One is objective function. Second one is structural constraints. Now we will discuss the objective function and structural constraints. What is this objective function? Your main objective in this case to maximize your profit, or it can be maximizing revenue, it can be maximizing the contribution. These are all your objective function. It is maximization. It can be called Z max you can write, or you can also consider cost or investment. If at all you look at the cost that you consider in this, I want to reduce my cost, I want to invest less. Considering cost and investment, it will be Z minimum. So objective function is about the whole problem mainly focuses on whether it is increasing revenue profit or decreasing cost. What is structural constraint? Now business is an open system. What is mean by system? System means set of interacting elements. Example, if there is a room, there is fan, there is tube light, there is a student sitting in a row, all these are systems. Similarly, business is an open system, two systems, open system and closed system. In closed system, no reaction, no response. If you hit on a wall, the wall will not hit back to you, no response, no feedback. If at all you hit for a person, the person will hit back to you. I mean to say, we are living in all the living systems are open system. Business is considered as open system because there will be finance, there will be marketing, there will be production, there will be that information technology, all these systems are together, it will come. Now why I am telling is, when you have a business as a system, there are certain constraints. Those constraints can be related to money, it can be related to men, it can be related to machines, it can relate to operations. All these constraints are considered under structural constraint. Being business as a system or structure, it has some limitations, what we call structural constraints. The last one is, how many kinds of first one and second one you can produce? Can it be minus 2000? No. Can it be negative, positive? Yes, 2000 and 3000 you can say. Can it be 0 and 0? Yes. No production in a month, you can say 0, 0. But definitely it cannot be minus 200 and minus 350 units. It can be only positive or it can be 0. Therefore, I can say there is no negative, so you can call non-negativity constraint. Students, any LPP has three parts. First one, objective function, 2 structural constraint, 3 non-negativity constraint. Now, you learned 3 parts of an LPP. If you want to know the definition of an LPP, let us divide this into 3 parts. Linear programming problem. Linear, you know, anything with the power, unknown power is 1, it is a linear. Whereas programming or planning, problem which deals with the planning of your production capacity based on the linear equations or linear inequalities, we call linear programming problem. Now, how do you write in the particular, if it is given what is LPP, how do you write? You can take LPP is a problem which deals with optimizing profit or cost based on certain linear constraints. I will repeat my words. LPP is a linear programming problem, is a problem which deals with optimizing, maximizing revenue or profit or minimizing cost based on certain linear inequalities or linear constraints. This is what the meaning or definition of LPP. Student, now we will know this. You understood a backdrop, you understood what are the 3 parts of an LPP, you also understood the definition or meaning of LPP. Now we will know how this chapter came, we will know historical background of this chapter. Students, it is an interesting story how LPP came, especially during World War II, and many economists and mathematicians felt, is there any possibility that the resources can be utilized at the optimum? There were 2 agendas were there for any country. One is their resources and their expenditure should be optimum utilized, or in other words, all their costs should be reduced. So, economizing their country's expenditure, spending for war. the other part is about how much maximum damage can be made to the enemy. So, considering these two, is there any possibility that the formulation mathematical model can be brought? First, in 1941, L. Contours, who was the Russian mathematician, he has formulated about LPP. So, later he got Nobel Prize for it. So, later during same, that is in 1941, Russian mathematician L. Contours, who was the pioneer in the LPP formulation. Later, American economist F.L. Hitchcock, who has also brought certain LPP formulation, but his main work was how can the transportation cost could be reduced. His LPP, where the intention to reduce the transportation cost, it was popularly known as transportation problem. This was in 1941. 1945, English economist, his name is G. Stigler, who has made a main LPP formula, LPP plan. How can a dietitian reduce the cost? It was called diet problem later. Then in 1947, G.B. Danzig was mainly formulated certain iteration procedures instead of graphical solution, again and again solving can we arrive, taking a basic solution, can we arrive at an optimum solution, where his formulation we called it as simplex method. So, that was simplex method of LPP, solving through during various iteration, take on basic solution, change it, do an optimum solution. 1975, for the famous work done by the both mathematician, Russian mathematician L. Contours and an American economist, his name was T.C. Koopman, got Nobel Prize for LPP formulation and their pioneer work. Students, by having this background, now we will know how you will formulate, what are the steps to be taken, and how do you solve LPP. Let us look at next, formulating linear programming problem.